Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Supreme Commander 2. We've got a pretty solid matchup today. Hope you guys will enjoy it. Let's introduce our players. Down here in the bottom left spawn of Open Palms, playing as the purple Aeon, it's Awasy. Looks like Awasy is going to be going first land double research. Actually, he's going to research and then first land. It's an interesting opening. We'll see how he does. His opponent is very high skilled, so I'll be curious to see if a 2 research opener works. If his opponent does something like triple land opener, that could result in some problems for him. Having said that, over here in the top right spawn of Open Palms, we have playing as the UEF in yellow, Wakonda. Gonna go first research into second air. Wow, so UEF mirror where both opponents have gone for a research-based opener, but one of them's gone into air and one of them's gone into land, and Awasy's going double land into an expansion into a third land factory, whereas it looks like Wakonda is going to go expand into the back line first. He hasn't set up his next expansion yet. He's going to assist out, right, because his commander is probably the one to go set up this. No? Oh, no. He's just got an extra. He's just got his engineer. He's going to do it immediately. Wakanda simply hasn't queued it up yet, but his commander is going to assist out some air units here. Wakanda is going to find out immediately what Awasy's plan is. He's going to see 2 research land opening. Wasp fighter going to find out exactly what's going on. Be curious to see how both of these players respond to this. Seeing the first air, almost probably going to see at some point the air anti-air upgrade on a factory. Double research might mean that we see the gauze cannon and anti-air upgrades on mass extractors. I'm not sure. He could also ignore them and then just go for the anti-air upgrade for his tanks and hard build anti-air towers to last in the meantime. Gunships could actually prove pretty effective here for Wakanda if he lives long enough to get a good mass of them. 20 gunships or so, even under severe, pretty gnarly anti-air fire, without any dedicated to wasps to take them down. I feel like Awasy would struggle to stop a good 20 gunships, but 20 gunships takes a deceptively long time to build on only one air factory. He's going to go into his second land after getting this expansion up, so we are not going to see the all-in on air out of Wakanda here. He's just looking to harass. He's looking to shut down some build power, stop some expansion perhaps. He's gotten the information he wanted. I don't know that he'll be able to, if he's not doubling up on air, I don't know how much use he'll be able to get out of air. But I mean, you get old up, leave it running with bombers for a while. You could get up cluster bombs eventually and do some pretty nice damage to tank blob. But once you get P shields out as UEF, bombers become much less effective. I have to say, like significantly less. Pretty flat double research income, almost here for Awasy, which makes sense because he's got double the amount of research gens. He's also making a little bit more energy and only slightly less mass. I wonder where that slightly less mass is coming from here. I guess Wakanda was a little bit quicker to expand into some of these front mass extractors. Not by much, though. Let's go ahead and speed the game up a little bit. I don't know how long this replay is, but we're going to set it to at least +2. I think regular speed is actually +1 rather than +0. So we're gonna speed it up. Speed it up to +2 here. And see what's gonna happen. I'm not sure if I like the Ego Viewer being up here in the top right. I think I might prefer it in the left instead. If you guys agree, be sure to let me know down in the comments where you think a good spot for this would be at. Without a mini-map, the left side is open when using the Eco Viewer for replays. Radar's going to get sniped. We do see the anti-air turret upgrade. Alright, this is kind of what I expected. He's gone for the Gauss Cannon anti-air upgrades on Research and Mass. Means this Research now functions as a point defense, supporting the Mass Extractor, which also now functions as point defense. All of his expansions will automatically be self-defending. Means it's going to be a lot more costly to use air here, by quite a bit. And honestly, until you get mobile missile launchers, tanks really struggle to get in. Now, without any upgrades, Wakonda's actually going to struggle to get anything done here, I think. He does not have Gauss Cannon on any of his stuff. He did just spend... he's going to go for Fat Boys. Okay. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic then. So, Awasy has superior research, superior defenses, superior upgrades, and he's calling on basic land. He's going to get into a mobile missile launcher war here with Wakonda over here on this bottom side. This right side, I should say. Excuse me. Wakonda open to first air. Going to get shut out of air pretty much by way of anti-air upgrades on mass extractors. And he's going to do exactly what I said earlier, which is to just leave this running, building a blob of bombers to take passes at a tank blob later. Until P-shields come out, it's pretty effective. We got short range. That's another interesting one. Short range is going to make this a lot more interesting engagement. I wonder if Awasy suspects the Fat Boy play here out of Wakonda. Fat Boys are going to be very good at engaging the long-range tank blobs, as long as they have some either point defense or tank support. So they'll be good at wearing away at the defenses here for Awasy. But short range, with the range upgrade, plus the hardened ability, means that you can effectively engage these Fat Boys pretty well, especially if they just get a little bit too close, can't pull away in time. Let's go ahead and slow it down to regular speed here. This is going to end up being a very interesting game. I can see why he submitted this replay. Now, I do have a little bit of a spoiler about something that happens later on this game, but I'm not sure who does it when. So we'll see what goes on here. I'm looking forward to seeing how things develop to this point. First Fat Boy has hit the field for Wakonda. It's going to be moving in to engage. Pretty damn close on eco for both players, but noticeably Awasy is still pretty ahead on research. A little bit ahead on mass and a little bit ahead on energy as well. Probably because he's been able to get the mass income upgrades, and he shut Wakonda out of this expansion now. Awasy now taking over more than half the map, and he's got a sizable tank blob pushing into the back lines here for Wakonda. Wakonda's in some trouble, I think. I'm struggling to see how this game lasts too much longer. Awasy must struggle to get a finishing blow off due to the Fat Boys. But as we can see, the short range is more than capable of firing at these Fat Boys here, if only he targets them on it. Bomber Raid is going out, looking to shut down the expansion. And they are going to manage at the loss of 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably a fifth. 5, 6 bombers there to shut down that one engineer. That's a pretty rough trade, but it's going to stop the expansion for now. Factory missiles killing the occasional building here. Now going to start firing off at these units, meaning now these units have even more motivation to not stand still. Demolisher artillery going to be pretty good for wearing out these P-shields. Incredibly good, especially if he gets the double barrel upgrade, the stacked gauze, which we do not see yet, but I'm sure it will be coming. P-shield's also going to be useful for shielding the frontline commander here against the Fat Boy and any mobile missile launcher raiding that happens. Second Fat Boy going to come off to the side. As his eco is being eroded from behind, Wakonda is not giving up. He's going to keep pressing these Fat Boys forward, pressing his advantage. He's got short range of his own up now. He's gonna go for the base trade here. And you know what? I think that's a good idea. Awasy not having fat boys of his own now means that he can't really afford to split forces off to deal with backline raids. For Wakonda, he gets the mass upgrade, and eventually these tanks will wear themselves out. A fat boy will pick them off, a mass extractor will pick them off slowly slowly but surely. Whereas for Awasy, the lack of experimentals for himself means that Wakonda can much more easily afford to send one single experimental and one engineer out here to expand and kill the back line for free. So we're looking at a pretty proper base trade situation here. I love this. You don't see this very often. Keep in mind, by the way, I don't see any radar out, which means they're using the factory radar. My guess is that Awasy can see about this, probably this main base. That's probably about it. He doesn't know that there's a second factory up and producing simultaneously. He doesn't know how much air production is up. He's not sure of how much energy or anything else really is going on outside of this front base. Whereas Wakonda has a regular radar station up. He's not reliant on the factory radar, meaning that he can see. I think it's what, like 30%, 40% more than the factory radar. He can see. Let's see, I know the radar station here reveals main base, so he can probably see everything except the main base here. No, actually, he's probably firing at lingering radar targets from prior scouting, because he's not firing at units here. He's firing at buildings. Actually, no. Maybe the radar. I think maybe there's a. I think there's a. Does UEF have a radar range increase upgrade? Maybe they do. If they do, then he can see this main base as well, because he is firing at units here. So yeah. Awasy may not be able to see it as much. I forgot about the radar range increase. If that applies to the factories, then there is a chance he can see the whole base and just can't act on it. But I don't think he can. I would be inclined to say that he cannot. Otherwise, this force around the back here would have kept pushing it to the left rather than to the south and forced the withdrawal of the forces here, which would have allowed for the pushing in of forces here. The short range is going to be a huge problem now for Wakonda. All his small units are going to go down to this. Shields are coming up, but it's a little bit late for the smaller land forces here. And these factory and regular shields also not really going to be enough. He's only got one shield up. He's desperately trying to get up more. A second and a third and a fourth probably coming up here in the back lines. A second Fat Boy and some more short range has joined this attack back here. Awasy has been forced now to redirect his forces over to the left side to stop this encroaching Fat Boy push here. But with enough support, especially with some some regular land factories, eventually this can get pushed. He does have a pretty nice mass of short range, quote-unquote short range, up now to really lay siege to this position for Wakonda. It's really coming down to these two positions. If Wakonda loses this, or Awasy loses his starting base, probably looking at a win condition for whoever pushes through first. Both players having to really balance the defense and offense here against these long-range engagement options. This is really the epitome of UEF gameplay here, is sitting at range behind shields while you push on another side. Hardened artillery ability going to come through and really stack on some damage against some of these shields here. Appears to not quite be... Some of the artillery is mistargeted here on some of the land forces here. Not quite enough yet to break through these shields, and as more and more shields come up, that's going to get harder and harder. He's reliant on P shields versus regular shields here. Of course, saying that, the P shields are still blocking these Fat Boy shots and regenerating their shields faster than they're going down. Eventually, a critical match without not much short range over here for Wakonda. It's concentrated over here for him, and even then he didn't really have that many. At some point, with enough P shields into this mix, these tanks can just push in, and there will be nothing Wakonda can do about it. I don't think that point is right now, but the longer he waits, the worse it'll get. Wakonda just barely keeping the shields online right now, I believe. Some of this short range is going to start wailing on the economy as well. Core mass is going to go down. That starting mass is going to be max vet. and making the most mass compared to all of his other mass extractors. It's going to be a pretty critical loss for Wakonda if he loses all 4 of those. Losing even one of them is a noticeable difference. And we can see right now, Wakonda is teetering on being behind on mass. Yeah, about 39. It's a noticeable difference at a certain point. 39, 7 mass per second difference. That stacks up over time. That may not look like much, but in a map like this one, in a matchup like this one, that does matter. He's really hoping that the short range can provide what he needs to break the defenses over here. But there's more and more P-shields starting to stack up, and mobile missiles means he can't afford to idle these buildings and units. It does mean that there's less P-shields over here now to deal with, and I do believe he has sent a good amount of his P-shields over to the left side, now recognizing he's got enough regular shielding here to hold the line. This is how he intends to win this fight. He's built up... Awasy used enough P-shields over here to delay and buy himself the time to get enough shield generator buildings to block the incoming fire. We now have short range coming up for Wakonda, though. He is trying to fight back. This is a hell of a matchup. Oh, excuse me. I sneezed. I don't know if that came through on the mic or not, but I wasn't able to mute in time. What a shot, huh? Mobile missiles, very effective at breaking these unshielded positions, and they're actually pretty good at killing fat boys as well. Fat boys stand still for too long. Its hitbox is so large that a last-minute movement will not save it from the mobile missiles. Mobile missiles can kill them. Look at that. Look at the damage there. They're hitting off target, but it doesn't matter. They were able to break these P-shields, though, it looks like. Pretty rough here for Awasy now, actually. Losing that... Losing this force here, that's pretty important. He is pulling ahead on the eco, but it's still only by 8 points. Backline eco going to go down to missile launchers here, unless he uses the bombers to clear it up, which it looks like he is trying to do. How did those guys get all the way around back there? That's funny. Did they move through the middle? I missed it. Must have. I wish I had a mini-map. I'm looking to see... Hang on, let me... Are the shields breaking in here? I don't think they are. I think these shields are holding. Whereas the shields back here for Awasy are starting to break. Yeah. Wakonda's getting through. It was looking pretty bad for Wakonda, but sending forces here, he's actually got an equal amount of fat boys to either front now. And Awasy still doesn't have... Oh my god. There it is. I didn't really notice it because it looks like a factory at a distance and I've been zoomed out. But there it is. There's the surprise. Mobile Noah unit cannons have come up for Awasy. That's why he doesn't have any experimentals. He was going for unit cannons. Oh my god. And there we go. Mobile missile launchers being fired directly into the back line here, meaning he'll be able to shut down... Honestly, a pretty good amount of stuff before it can be handled here. Bomber's going to be necessary now to deal with this. And we have... We don't have the unit AA up yet. He's spreading these mobile missile launchers around to make them less vulnerable to AoE fire. And bomber shots, taking out the whole grouping as they land. He's going to get, you know, an energy generator and 2 mass extractors, but that's important. I mean, look at what's happening now in the economy game. This is how Awasy wants to win. He recognizes that he's losing this down here. He understands that this is a lost cause now. The only job that that his main base, his original main base, now needs to perform is to last as long as possible. Make it as annoying as possible. He's probably getting these structure veterancy upgrades to drag out the health on those buildings and make it more annoying for them to fire. unit cannons being spread out. I wonder if there must be a hotkey for that. Maybe, I guess it's done with the force attack. Is how you use the unit cannons. So I guess just the control A click, A click, A click, A click, A click, A click, to fire them all over the place like that. And that's going to be incredibly, incredibly annoying. Even if he doesn't actually kill all that much, it means these fat boys stop firing at the front for a little while. They absorb some rounds. And he doesn't have the defenses built up in his back line to stem this tide. 2 unit cannons puts out a lot of units very quickly. It's a deceptively large difference. 2 unit cannons into this back line. He essentially isn't going to be able to make shields and turrets back here fast enough and cost-effective enough to defend the economy that he wants to hold on to back here, and the units that he would spend building this back, he really needs to put onto the front line. Wakonda's only hope now is to put everything into attack. Forget defense. Let the unit cannons wreak their damage. Use the bombers to clean it up as quickly as he can. The mass extractor point defense to clean it up as quickly as he can. And concentrate his fire on this position in hopes of breaking it down. This is a... If it was a base race before, it's definitely a base race now. More mass extractors going to be going down here. Guaranteed. I mean, they're dying after less than a full volley, but it doesn't matter. Boom, mass extractor goes down. Cost him 2 sets of units to do. It's not an efficient trade, but when you're ahead on eco, you don't actually need to be that efficient. However, it's worth noting he's not actually ahead on eco, but he can use these unit cannons to do this. Look, he's just immediately gotten units closer than they normally would be able to because the fat boys can't fire on them as quickly when they're right in their face, believe it or not. It takes them a second for hard fire. So now unit cannons are being used to shoo away these fat boys. You almost never see unit cannons in a high-level game. This is crazy. I love this out of Awasy. This is a very, very entertaining fight now. It was looking really balanced, but there we go. It doesn't matter. I was just able to catch that, thankfully. The concentrated fat boys and mobile missiles broke the shields and managed to break through. It was not looking good for Wakonda there for a while. I think Awasy's mistake here was the unit cannons, to be honest. The unit cannons were good, and they could have worked if he'd had more time, but he just against these fat boys, it's such a hard hold without more shields. And once the shields break the first time, there's no recovering, right? You're never getting back to that critical mass. You either have to keep the critical mass or not have it at all. And once he lost it, that was all she wrote. Very well done to both of these players. What an entertaining match. Also, props to Awasy for being the one to post this match, even though he was the one who lost. Because very often the people who post... Or was it Wakonda? I thought it was Awasy. No, it was Wakonda. Even so. Alright, yeah. That's my bad. Wakonda did... I was about to compliment Awasy for posting a loss. But still, thanks to Wakonda for sending the match over. And thanks to both of those players for playing it. Wakonda's comment says, UEF versus UEF is dumb, but man, is it fun to play and watch. Hopefully. I don't know if this is Steel worthy, but there it is. Steel speaks. P.S. This game features a Noah unit cannon. Yeah, honestly, Wakonda, this is a very, very good match. I liked this. This is awesome. Shout out to Awasy for trying something different, right? Because I feel like going for the fat boys there is the meta. And he tried to do something else, and that's nice. I like that. Yeah, there we go. That's going to do it for this replay. If you guys liked that and you want to see more, be sure to tell me in the comments, like the video, etc., etc. Yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.